So, I talked about the first purpose was probably, getting your act together. Well, the second purpose would be involving Paul's understanding that the believers need to be established. So, if you look in Romans chapter 1, verse 11, you'll see that Paul wanted to give them instruction in their faith. He wanted to make sure that they knew what faith was all about. So his letter is kind of a syllabus of sorts of his apostolic, I guess you'd say apostolic teaching. And Romans is a representation of God's plan of salvation for both the Jews and the Gentiles. Now, most of us would, of course, fall under the Gentile heading. Maybe I've got people who are Jewish that are watching this video too. But anyway, so there's a few words that we need to learn that are in there. And if you look at the pages on teresawilson.com, you'll see Galatians 2:12-15, Matthew 13:49, and Romans 1:1-14 also approach what the world might have looked like back in that time period. Now, remember, this is AD 57 that we're thinking of, and we're trying to figure out what the world was like then, because Paul says that the people their faith was known around the world. Can we say that? Is our faith known around the world? Now, I know my jacket is in different places in the world because it says faith over fear. But this is something that I have to learn every day, to have faith over fear and not be afraid of things. My husband keeps telling me, read your jacket when I'm thinking like things are not going how I thought they should go. He says, trust God. So, Romans is teaching us how to have faith. And the best way to have faith is to trust God. So when you're reading Romans 1, and this may be the last Romans 1 that I post for the video, but we'll see if I do one over the weekend. Just know that faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. Now, we're going to study a little bit more on faith as we go into number 2, as well as a little bit of how to keep ourselves from judging people that we shouldn't judge, and how to encourage people that know to do right. Remember, that's the people who know the truth. We want them to know the truth and then to know how to behave. Because if they don't have God, they can't know the truth. Just to add to that a little bit, knowing God is knowing the truth. So hopefully this doesn't go too long for you to listen to. I may have to trim a little bit here and there, but Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. And if you know Jesus, you know the truth. And once you know the truth, then you can study his word and understand what true faith is and how to live your life. And then, if we see a brother or sister that's sinning, there's a different, whole different thing in that. But if there are people who are walking in sin right now that you know that don't know God, you cannot really encourage them to know God if you're just being judgmental over them, because that's all they'll see is the judgmentalness. So let's take a moment and just pray for them each day without being judgmental. All right? See you next time. I'll walk down Romans Road.